Hey guys, Daniel here and welcome to my kitchen. Now, as some of you may know, most of you probably not, I am one of the chefs that works behind the scenes at the Green Room Cafe at Green Hills. Now, I've recently noticed that Letitia, our lovely boss, has put up a video to explain to you guys how to start making some things at home. So I thought, here's an opportunity for me to chime in. Starting with a ricotta gnocchi that I had on the menu at the Green Hills for a while. It was very popular. It's very easy to make at home, and I think it's one of those recipes that not a lot of people really know what they're doing with it. So I thought this might be a good opportunity to put it out to you guys and show you guys just how easy it is for you guys to make at home. So let's get down to it. So the first thing we'll go through is the equipment needed. Now, some of this not entirely necessary except for the star of the show here, which is going to be our ricer. Now, the reason for this is that we're going to be using dried roast potatoes. If you try and do them with a masher, you won't get it as smooth. Now this thing will punch them through, no worries. They'll come out smooth as butter, and they'll be absolutely fantastic. A cutter, especially a metal one, makes it a whole lot easier to get the shape that you get, the size that you want, get the shape that you want, and just keep them nice and clean. And also it's fantastic cleaning the bench afterwards because you can just scrape everything straight off. Now this little gadget here, completely unnecessary. It's all for show, but I'm going to use it today or tonight, just so that you guys can see how it works if in the event you do feel like picking one up. Now, they're not something commonly available, but I'm fairly sure there are a few stores around Newcastle that do sell them. So, next, our ingredients. Now here we have some pre-roasted potatoes. I usually go about 2 decent sized potatoes, but as the best I could get were quite small, I've gone with about 6 of these, 1 egg, about 90 grams of plain flour, and ricotta that we use about 2 tablespoons of for this, and salt and white pepper, of course. So I'll have all this written down somewhere so that you guys can refer back to it in the event that you wish to. Alright, let's get on with it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, get our potatoes out of the skins, into the ricer, and get them ready to go. So for me, I just do it with my fingers. Peel what you can of the skin off. So these potatoes, by the way, roasted at about 200 degrees for roughly an hour. For me, I like to take the top off and give them a squeeze, rub as much as you can of it out. You know, you can be real particular with this if you want to. Get a spoon, scoop it out. You can sit there and peel all the skin off and just you're left with a nice little potato. But me, the easiest way I've found is just to take the top off, squeeze it in, and you're left with just the insides of it. The reason we don't boil them or steam them or any other approach we could possibly take is that we don't want to add that excess moisture. So that excess moisture, it means that you've then got to add more flour, you end up with a floury dough. Really, you just want a nice, as little flour as possible. So this is where the magic happens. There we go. See? This thing, by the way, no lumps whatsoever. It's going to be smooth as butter. This thing, by the way, is absolutely amazing for making mashed potato. You know? So if you buy one, you will not regret it. That much I can guarantee. Little disclaimer with the potatoes, you know, depending how quickly you do it out of the oven, they will still be hot. Even if you've got leftover roast potatoes from you know, a roast dinner or something like that, you know, you can definitely use them, cold or not. I mean, they'll still go through the ricer all the same. They'll still give you just as good a gnocchi. You know, it doesn't have to be fresh out of the oven potatoes. If you don't want to handle them hot, you know, give them a chance to cool down first. Rightio, that's that. As you can see, we're left with a lovely beginning of a gnocchi or mashed potato right together. Right, clear some space. Here we want to start getting everything else into it. So we're going to throw 1 egg in. Gonna get our ricotta. Now it really doesn't matter which ricotta you choose to use in this situation. Nice soft ricotta is absolutely fine for what I do. 2 tablespoons. You got your 90 grams of flour. White pepper. Pretty good amount of salt. Potato, how many of you have done much with potato, it absorbs a lot of salt, so you can use a lot of seasoning. You be very generous with it, and it'll be okay. Yeah, we'll clear our space, because now what we're going to do, get our hands in there, quickly work it together. It's important that we're really quick with this part. The more you work it, the denser it becomes, and you lose that nice cloud bite to it. You end up with something that's just not particularly appealing. Like if you've had bad gnocchi, you know it. All right, now that that's done, this extra flour we have here, we'll flour our bench. A little bit on our fingers, get the gnocchi out. And we're just going to work it by pulling it into itself. So push it out, pull it in. Right? Push, pull. Doesn't need an obscene amount of flour now to bring it together, as you'll notice. It comes together quite easily, quite nicely. And you'll go from what looked like a rather unpleasant ball of dough to this lovely smooth gnocchi dough. Now, from here on, what you're looking for is more of a texture. I mean, I can give you all the ingredients in the world, but ultimately it's going to come down to the texture that you're chasing. So you want something that, when I pull this off and I spread it out, see it's still kind of tacky, still sticks. You sort of want to get away from that a little bit. Dry it out a little more flour in there. Alright, so yeah, that's more or less falling straight off. That's around the texture that I go for. To get all this stuff off your hands, by the way, it's as easy as just getting a bit of flour and just rubbing it together. Or if you've got a sink right next to you, just wash your hands. Alright, part 2 now. Get a little bit of our flour, throw it down. This is where our cutter comes into play. Cut a bit off. Roll it into the sizing that you want. See, I go probably about a finger width thick. And then, that was a bit of a dodgy one. And then cut. Simple as that. Again, a little bit of flour, cut it off, roll it out. Trick with rolling it out, start with your fingers in, push your fingers out as you go. And that will give you a nice roll. And again, just cut him up. voila. Now, I won't force you to sit there and watch all of these because frankly it's boring, it's slow, and it's probably the most mundane thing. But I will demonstrate one. So we get the gnocchi itself on there, thumb, and use that thumb to roll it over. What that gives you is a nice little open shell, kind of like a witchetty grub, is sort of what it resembles. And that right there will be the nice, lightest, fluffiest gnocchi. Alright guys, now that we have all of our lovely little gnocchi rolled and ready to go, straight into a pot of boiling water, very well salted once again. Potato loves the salt, can't get enough of it. Now the trick with these, you know they're cooked the second they float. As soon as they float up, pull them up, get them into some ice cold water. I don't have ice cold water because I'm going to cook these straight away, so it's just a bowl of cold water. But yeah, that'll do. You're going to give them a stir, very gentle stir, and we watch and we wait. They don't take long. As you can see, we're starting to get a few now that are starting to float up. That means they're done. That's all we want. Straight into the cold water, get them out of there. Trust me, once one starts, they all start. And that's your gnocchi made, guys. Like, strain it out of the cold water once it's cooled down. When you want to cook it, throw it straight into a hot pan, salt, pepper, whatever sauce you want. Ideally what you'll do is let it roast while it's in the pan, get a nice crispiness to it, and that really brings out the best of it. Alright, so my partner has pointed out to me that perhaps I should show you guys how to actually cook it because it may not be as common knowledge as I sort of thought. So what we're going to make tonight, we're going to make a pesto, sun-dried tomato and silver beets gnocchi. So here we go. We have our pan nice and hot with olive oil. I'm going to drop our gnocchi straight into that. Let that sizzle, because what that's doing right now is that's giving you your nice crunchy texture that we really want. See, that's sort of starting to colour. You can't really see it too well there, so we'll let it go a bit longer before we touch it. Alright, so you can start to see the coloration coming in on it. That orange there. You can be really pedantic and you can just turn each one individually, or you can just start tossing the pan. Basically, we're at home, we're not a fine dining restaurant here. We like to believe we are sometimes. So what we're doing right here is fine. And again, just let it cook. The trick with a lot of cooking is just let it go. Don't stir it constantly, just put it in there, let it sit, and let it get its colour on it. Alright, so now we've got that going pretty well. Healthy amount of pepper. What do I say? Potatoes love their salt. Give that a stir through. Chuck a bit of butter in there, get a bit of base to our sauce. There's some sun-dried tomatoes in. A couple of teaspoons of pesto. Now most of this I just do by sight. I don't think too much about the quantities of anything that's going in it. You know, you want a stronger flavour, go more pesto. You don't want a stronger flavour, don't go as much pesto. Alright, last but not least, throw in a silver beet. make a terrible mess. As my partner would say, is something I'm good at. So. Let that cook out and we're done. And there we go, guys. One delicious gnocchi, very easy to make, very quick. As you can see, it didn't take particularly long. The longest part is just roasting the potatoes, so definitely make this one at home and I definitely suggest it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do, give it a crack. Cheers.